Hey guys, my name is Alex and welcome to Dream Dimension TCG. This is the first of hopefully various speed paints, and for this one I wanted to focus on the faction Terror of the Night, one of the two main factions of the first set, the other being Daydreamers. For the world of Terror of the Night, I wanted to show an almost lifeless region which could be seen in some sort of nightmare. When I was doing thumbnails to decide what I wanted to draw, at first I was going to go with an autumn forest showing some daydreamer creatures running about, but then I felt like I was giving too much attention to that faction, because even nightmares need a little bit of love. So once I had that decided, I went to work on the trees, which at first were going to be leafless, but I then thought that leaves would look a little bit better. Just because it's a nightmarish land doesn't mean that there can't be life. As I worked on the trees, I wanted some creatures to populate the scene, so I felt like going with Horned Abomination, Abyssian Man-Eater, and Falsity Maggot. But I ended up removing the maggot in the end because it didn't really belong in this kind of environment. I also went with the mountains in the back to fill the void. And for the light source, I went with the classic full moon in the sky. As I kept on going, I kept thinking on how I wanted the moon, the shading, lighting and all that, but I'll talk about that when I get to it. For the foreground, I wanted a human, specifically a dreamer. After all, this scene is right after an event in the story in which people, humans and aliens, first enter the dream dimension and they discover this world where what they thought were only dreams. After the foreground was blocked out, I filled the larger empty spaces with super thin trees. For a little while, the leafless trees stopped feeling right, so I noticed a brush that looked like it could work for making it feel better, and it did work. I started by doing some bushes and then went on to the tree leaves, and once that was done I moved on to the mountains. I changed them just a tiny bit, but I didn't record that part since this speed paint was done on a stream. I then moved on to the background, worked a quick gradient for the sky and one huge moon. Having the moon there helped a ton with the lighting. After everything, it was time to draw the creatures. Firstly, I blocked out the creatures. Details weren't necessary at this point, and I had an idea of adding a giant creature way in the back So I wanted to see how Blood-Starved Demon looked in the background, and I left it there for a bit, but thought it was a bad idea, so I ended up giving up on it. For the colors, since I wanted a blood moon, I had to make sure to keep the overall colors more reddish, even if it was just the highlights, because Byssian Manhunter is a green creature and the leaves are all green and all that, so I had to not forget those things. And this is how it ended up. For the roughly 2 hours I spent on this, it was pretty fun, to be honest. It's been a while since I did these kinds of drawings, but I feel like it ended pretty well for someone who's pretty much out of practice. So what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments, like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.